Okay, dear students, are you able to hear me? I hope you are able to hear my voice. Okay, students, are you able to hear me? Able to hear my voice? Okay, everyone, hope everybody is doing well. Today, we are going to look into the paper analysis for CA Inter Audit December 2021 paper. Okay, so today's entire aim is going to be to ensure that uh, the paper is decoded, the tricky questions are answered, and you are comfortable with the review part. Okay. Now, for that, dear student, we'll be going through a set of, in a proper format so that you are able to understand how the questions were answered. However, as you know that the MCQs are not made available by ICI, okay? So that cannot be solved because that is an inherent limitation, as you know, okay? So that is why we are going to look only at the question and answer part of the CA Inter Audit paper. Okay, let's see. Now we have, before I go ahead, we have to announce that we have the Excel with the Yashas batch for the May 22 and the November 22 attempt. Okay, it's 100% English comprehensive batch for CA Intermediate Group 2 students. It starts on 15th of December 2021, and you can see there you can use the code Yashas Live. Dear students, superheroes can be built. All they need is the right guidance. We have this wonderful team of faculties for Group 2. Meeta Mangal ma'am for SM, Rajavardhani sir for Advanced Accounts, Mayur Nata sir for Advanced Accounts, and myself Kartik Iyer Sir for Audit. And further, we also have Shandar Ahmed sir for Economics, Dhananjay Bhave sir for FM, Murugesh Madlani sir for EIS, and Ravikant Miralia sir for Accounting Standards. Okay. Now, Unacademy, what does it provide you? It provides you one subscription with multiple benefits. You can get live interactive classes, unlimited recorded lectures, multiple educators for all subjects, doubt solving sessions every week, and practice mock test series. So, boys and girls, what are you waiting for? Get your subscription today. All subjects at the price of one, multiple educators for one subject, one subscription for all batches, revision classes, fast track batches, and test series. You can, of course, use the code Yashas Live as given below. Now, students on Unacademy, you can go for the Plus subscription, or you may opt for the Iconic subscription. Now, Iconic subscription has better features. I'll tell you in relation to both. You can see here in the Plus subscription, you will, of course, learn from India's best educators, which is also there in the Iconic subscription. In the Plus subscription, you can watch live interactive classes. Okay. In this case, also it is the same live interactive classes. Here you will get a structured course and PDFs along with the live tests and quizzes. Same thing here, structured courses and PDFs and live tests and quizzes. But what you get additionally in the Iconic course is personal coaching and printed books. Okay, so that is one advantage where care is taken that you are doing your studies properly and it is worth your time. Okay, you can see the various fees that are given here. You can see that for 6 months on Iconic is given on the right hand side. For 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 and 24 months for the Plus course on the left hand side. For the Iconic, along with the 6 months, you also have the 12 months and the 24 months subscriptions. Okay, you can see the same. So you can go for this Iconic subscription for CA Intermediate. Now, students may have the doubt, sir, what are the benefits of Iconic? Can you please tell me what are the other benefits which are there? My dear students, I'll just tell you regarding the same. Just a second. Yes. The CA Iconic program, it's a flagship program for CA Intermediate aspirants. Okay. It's a live mentoring platform, LMP, which is coming soon. One-to-one personal coaching, one-to-one doubt solving, okay, evaluated test series, printed books, industry expert session, Discord. Discord is basically a community building platform, okay. All these things are there in the LMP, which is coming soon. Live classes, weekly tests, study materials, unlimited access, structured courses are also there available for you. This is for the Plus course students. And if you are Iconic, then you get the above mentioned advantage also. One-to-one personal coaching, one-to-one doubt solving, evaluated test series, printed books, industry expert session, and Discord community building. Okay, so this, as I said, is there for you. Now, students, the one-to-one live mentoring in Iconic. Give your exam prep an extra edge with our new live mentoring platform, that is LMP. Experience personalized learning like never before. With our seasoned mentors and doubt solvers. Discuss their doubts, clarify your concepts, and enhance your exam strategy with just a click. Get customized study plan from dedicated mentors. Articles of guidance to help you leave your mark in the professional world. Okay. And student, finally, we have the evaluated test series. Give your exam prep an extra edge with our latest edition in Iconic subscription. What are the benefits? Let's see in a deep manner. Let's see this. After 40% of the portion is over, one test will be conducted. After 80% of the portion is over, another test will be conducted. And after 100% of the teaching is done or the student learning is completed, one more final test will be taken. So it's a 3-stage test series for every attempt. Live tests on 40%, 80%, 100% of syllabus completion, and gauge of preparation and exam readiness with our latest test series. Test followed by analysis class and detailed evaluation of answers by subject matter experts. Get personal guidance and feedback from experts basis your performance. Okay, very clear. I hope it is very comfortable for you. Okay, understanding everything. So Iconic subscription as well as in Plus subscription, whichever you opt for. But if you opt for Unacademy, you will get excellent features, benefits, interactive lectures, Professors always have seen, not only me, in terms of other professors also, we are looking forward for the lectures on Unacademy in terms of giving a excellent, experience for the students in terms of learning. Okay. So make your decision, and if you are unaware of Unacademy, you can check out the website and you can enroll there. Okay. Now, boys and girls, let's go for the session that is basically the paper analysis for the December 21 CA Inter examination. Okay, so we are doing the paper analysis one by one. We'll be jotting the answers. Okay, let's see. Now, in this case, I will request the students who are watching this video to answer this. Okay, whenever the question appears, try to answer it on your own, and then we can go ahead. Okay, I'm looking at the one second. Okay, I think sound clarity, I hope it is fine. I think it is all right. Okay. Now let's go. CA Inter Audit December 21 paper analysis. Let's do it. Now, students, this is the correct incorrect type questions. Let's look into this. State with reasons whether the following are correct or incorrect. Answer any 7. So you can offer any 7 of your choice. But of course, we'll be solving all. Internal control cannot eliminate risk or material misstatement in a financial statement. Okay. They're given internal control cannot eliminate the risk or material misstatement. So here you have to understand that risk or material misstatement is nothing but a combination of inherent risk into control risk. Correct. Also, even if the controls are set up, if the risk still percolates into the company, it is called as control risk, as we had seen. Also, you know that audit risk is nothing but inherent risk plus control risk plus detection risk. Okay. So boys and girls, with that you can understand that internal control, when they ask cannot eliminate risk or material misstatement in financial statements, this cannot be correct because internal control by itself cannot handle the issue by itself. Also, there are some inherent risks which are there, which will always exist because of environmental outside factors which are beyond the control of the company. Okay. When profit before tax from continuing operation is non-volatile, other benchmarks will be appropriate. Now here, what approach you take while writing the answer will matter a lot. Okay. Now here, if you remember, there was a code in materiality called VOFUN, correct? So if volatility is there, then our benchmarks will change. Okay. So they have given here when profit before tax from continuing operation, okay, is non-volatile. They have written here other benchmarks will be appropriate. So why are they said that? Because if the profit before tax is non-volatile, if it doesn't change, okay, no, it is not changing as per circumstances, then it may not be the right benchmark. Okay. But however, if you see, if for some items where stability is required, it may be the right benchmark. Okay. So it is basically dependent on the approach that you take while writing this answer. Next, they are given when inventory under the custody and control of a third party is material to the financial statements, the auditor can obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the existence and conditions of inventory by taking written representation from the management. This is completely incorrect. The reason is because if the inventory is in the custody or in the control of the third party, then we need to try to connect with or contact the third party. If possible, visit the third party site. If that is also not possible, then request the third party to send in some documentation from there regarding their data. Also, if possible, if we are not able to go to the location, then request some other auditor in that location to audit the third party. Okay. So all these things can be done. But imagine if the inventory is with the third party and we are requesting our management, please provide a written representation. If you give us a written representation, we'll be satisfied. That is completely incorrect. Okay. So very, very important point to note. This is seen in SA 501. Okay. The boys and girls, let's go to the next one. Very simple one. Okay, let's see this. While auditing the books of accounts of ABC Limited, the auditor of the company looked at the inventory counting process. Look at the words used. Looked at the inventory counting process. Looked. With his eyes, he looked at the inventory counting process to obtain audit evidence. Okay. In the present case, the audit procedure used by the auditor is known as inspection. Tell me it is correct or no. The answer to this is, the answer is observation. Okay, the audit procedure that the auditor is using in this case is observation and not inspection. So inspection would be incorrect in this case. Okay. Next one. Statistical sampling, being more scientific and without personal bias, will always be appropriate to use under all circumstances. See, auditor does not deal only with mechanical matters. Auditor also deals with matters in relation to estimates. You know, RDD, life of an asset, provisions, all these are part of estimates. So there are some areas where the personal bias of auditor is required or the personal opinion of auditor is required. Otherwise, his opinion will not have any value. Okay. So statistical sampling, can it be the more scientific and without personal bias in all the circumstances? The answer is incorrect because it is not necessary that it will be always be active. Okay. Next is, as per section 139 subsection number 5 of the Companies Act 2013, in the case of a government company, board of directors shall appoint the subsequent auditor within a period of 60 days from the commencement of the financial year. Tell me, according to you, whether this answer is correct or incorrect. The answer definitely is, if you know this company audit we have done very well. You remember the song also, BEM CBM 39636 30-30-30-. Okay, we sing this. But of course, this part is not covered in the song because this is in relation to subsequent auditor. What is covered in the song is the area in relation to first auditor and casual vacancy. Correct? So you understand here that the board of auditors shall appoint the subsequent auditor within how many days? Within 60 days from the commencement of financial year is incorrect because we have to appoint the auditor within 180 days first of all, and second, it cannot be done, the appointment cannot be done by the board of directors. It has to be done by C and AG. Okay, no, C and AG. C and AG has to appoint a subsequent auditor within a period of 180 days from the commencement of the financial year. Very clear? Next, auditor has to disclose the impact, if any, of the pending litigations on the financial positions of the auditee in his audit report. This is by far the most trickiest question. Okay, boys and girls, this is an important question. On the face of it, you will say, sir, pending litigation we are done in rule 11. 100% is applicable, sir. So this answer, we feel that it is correct. Boys and girls, remember, the auditor will only give his views and opinions whether the company has disclosed it properly or not. If you read the language very closely, you will see that the auditor will give his views and opinions whether the company has disclosed it properly or not. To understand, here they are given the auditor has to disclose the impact. No, the company has to disclose the impact, if any, of the pending litigation on the financial positions of the company in the financial statements and the auditor will only give his view in relation to the pending litigations. So his answer is the incorrect one. It's a tricky one, very tricky one. Okay. Next one, let's see this. Reporting of fraud of INR 150 lakhs. Okay, no. By the auditor they have given here will be done within 3 days. Incorrect. Within how many days? 2 days. Of the fraud coming to the knowledge of the auditor to the board of the audit committee along with remedial action. The answer is incorrect. This part the auditor will not comment anything. The auditor will simply inform the board of the audit committee. The board of the audit committee will give their opinion through a remedial and by taking a remedial action. Okay, no. So remedial action will not be taken by the auditor. It will be taken by the board of the audit committee. Okay. So this is the way you have to deal with the correct and incorrect areas. Okay, I hope it is comfortable. Okay. Now, student, what I suggest is you must have gone through the areas. Go through it once again. See, if you are a new student, okay, no, you are studying audit and you're not given the CA Inter exam, there's an excellent place where you can just simply go through this question and see where you are going wrong. Okay. So analyze it. Secondly, if you're a student who has, given the exam, gone through the procedure, and now suddenly this question has come. Okay, I'm doing the paper analysis. So you can simply go and see, oh, okay, this was supposed to be like this, supposed to be like this. So you come to know where you went wrong. Hopefully you will clear the exam. But by chance, if you don't, you exactly know where you went wrong. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll flip the pages. Okay, I'll flip the pages. Okay. What I'll do is I'll give 30 seconds. Okay, let's say 1 minute per page. Okay. What you can go is just go through it and analyze the answer in your mind. Okay. And then I'll change the page, then I'll change the page, then I'll change the page, and like that, we'll keep on doing the answer. Okay. So my request is please do the needful, please look at it. Okay, now go through it and let me know whether you have understood the area properly. You can put your comments in the area below. Okay, please do the needful. Please look into this area also. Okay. I'm putting the flipper, the reason being so that you don't get distracted. Okay, if I drink water or something, you don't get distracted. The reason is that I'm here only, so you can comment here. Okay. Please go to the last part. Please go to the last part and see whether you're able to answer it properly or not. Okay. See the the tricky part of the G question is mind blowing. The way they have framed it, if the student has not read it in depth, there will be a mistake. Okay, ensure that you're doing this properly. Very important. Okay, can you go ahead? Okay, let's go. Now we are going to the question answer type of questions. Okay, now let's see this one by one. CAS is requested to accept the appointment as an auditor of Luck Limited. With reference to asset 210, what should the auditor determine in order to establish whether the preconditions for an audit are present? Okay, so these you can see clearly. This student, one of the favorite answers from chapter number 1, preconditions. Okay, easy area is there. Okay, so here, as you know, we'll deal with asset 210, agreeing the terms of the audit engagement in order to establish whether the preconditions for an audit are present. Okay, the auditor shall do what all things first. So the auditor shall determine whether the financial reporting framework is acceptable or not. Okay, no. First, the auditor will accept it, and the auditor will take management agreements regarding 3 things. Okay, no. Let's see. Obtain the agreement of management that it acknowledges and understands its responsibility for the preparation of the financial statements in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework, for the internal control as management considers necessary, and finally to provide the auditor with access to all information, additional information on request from the management, and unrestricted access to persons within the entity from whom the auditor determines is necessary to obtain the audit evidence. Okay, so as you can see, exactly the answer that we have done in the class in relation to preconditions. Straight question was asked in the examination. Okay, next one. This question is good. Whereas a TPN company, a firm of CA, is auditor of KSR Limited for many years. KSR has diversified their business into newer areas during the last year. Okay, so you understand that the business has got spread, and they have diversified into new areas. It means that the size and nature of the entity has changed. Okay, the senior member of the audit team handed over the standard audit program for earlier years to the audit assistants and instructed them to follow the same. Now, you only tell me if the company has diversified, if the client has diversified into different business or diversified its business into newer areas. Now, you have to ask yourself whether should you give your team the same standard audit program that was applicable in the earlier years, or should it be modified? Okay, the assistants are conducting the audit accordingly, whether the attitude of the audit assistants is justified or they are required to keep an open mind. That is what they have asked here. Okay, so you have to understand whether how to take. Now this, see, such questions they have written here, guide them. Okay, guide them. Now whenever such questions come in the exam, you have to apply your mind and see what all areas you can cover. Okay, first of all, can you cover the area in relation to audit plan? Yes, because audit plan requires continuous changes. So because from last year, previous years, new things have happened, so we may change the audit plan now. Okay, the audit plan has to change. Okay, second thing, audit plan whenever we make, that is okay, but remember, whenever the nature and size of the business changes, we have to make a new engagement letter. That is also written in 210. Okay, that is in relation to recurring audit. Okay, very clear. So the answer, of course, the answer that you may have written in the exam may not be exactly the same, but few points here, few points there. But this is an area where you have to give your opinion as a student. Okay, guide them means you have to give your opinion as a student. There is no structured way. Sir, this is the only way this answer can be presented. It is not like that. This answer has to be framed in a smart way. What points can you use? Let's see. Planning includes consideration of timing of certain activities and audit procedures that need to be completed prior to the performance of further audit procedures. Planning includes the need to consider the risk to the audit, the identification assessment of the risk of material misstatements, such other matters as they have said. You have to understand the analytical procedures better. Legal and regulatory framework, you have to check again. Where we have diversified, if new laws are required to be complied, you have to see that. Materiality has to be determined. Experts' involvement should be seen. Risk assessment procedures should be seen. All these things have to be considered because the company has gone into new areas. Also, what you can elaborate on is recurring audit engagement letter. You know this very well. Recurring audit, we have done the code called most changes in Flonso. So there we had done a point, changes in, remember, changes in There we had done if the company has gone to newer business area, changes in nature and size of the company's business. Okay, if the company is diversified into new areas, we need to see to it that audit engagement letter requires to be changed. Okay, or updated, or with the language, the word that you have used in the bare provisions is the word revised engagement letter. Okay, that is what you have to do. Now, boys and girls, let's go to the next one. This is with reference to SA 530. Explain briefly the following factors that the auditor may consider when determining the sample size for the test of details. That is desired level of assurance. Remember this. When desired level of assurance increases, will the audit sample, that is sample that the auditor will take from the population, will it increase or will it remain the same, or will it decrease? Of course, if the desired level of assurance increases, the sample size will also increase. Remember the semicircle diagram. Okay, now second thing, so stratification of population. If the stratification of population is done, the sample size will reduce because your population is much more organized. It is grouped in a proper way. So your effort to find the required satisfaction will reduce because already grouped. Okay, now in the class I had given you a wonderful example. I told when some of your relatives come from abroad, they will bring sweets for you or chocolates for you. Chocolate of different types. Okay, now what will happen is you and your brother or sister will be there in the house. Suppose you have just kept all the chocolates in one bag. Okay, now your brother and sister has nicely taken a box, nicely in box has 4 parts, nicely kept all the 4 types of chocolates in different compartments in the box and close the box. Now you tell me if your parents ask for a chocolate. Okay, now who will be able to give the chocolate faster to the parents? Your parents say, bring me chocolate of each type, bring me 1 chocolate of each type. So who will be who will be able to do the work in a faster way? It will be your brother or sister. Why? Because they've already compartmentalized it, they've already grouped it, they've already stratified it. There goes stratification. Okay, now so this we had seen in the class. Okay, so my dear students, the answer will be first a desired level of assurance. Let's see this. An increase in the auditor desired level of assurance that the tolerable rate of deviation is not exceeded by the actual rate of deviation in the population will increase the sample size. It will increase the sample size. Thus, the greater the level of assurance that the auditor desires that the results of the sample are in fact indicative of the actual incidence of the deviation in the population, the larger the sample size needs to be. Sample size needs to be larger. Okay. Where stratification of the population is appropriate, then the sample size will decrease, as I told you. As when there is a wide range variability in the monetary size of the items in the population, it may be useful to stratify the population. This is what we had seen. Okay, very clear. Next question is, when a business operates in a more automated environment, we are likely to see several business functions and activities happening within the systems. List down the business functions and activities happening within the systems. And this answer was slightly tricky one. You have done this in the class, you know this very well. Okay, no. But you need to understand when you see the word business function, you have to write this answer. Okay. Slightly tricky. By reading it that it is from automated environment. You have done this answer in the class. You have to see whether you have written this same answer. See this. When a business operates in a more automated environment, remember the answer in relation to relevance of IT in audit. Remember this answer. It is the same thing. Okay. So it is likely that we will see several business functions and activities happening within the systems. Consider the following aspects instead of. First, they have given computation and calculations are automatically carried out. For example, bank interest computation and inventory valuation. Okay, no. Second is accounting entries are posted automatically. We have done a story kind of a thing for this answer. Remember, for example, sub ledger to general ledger postings are automatic. Okay, so that the accounting the software which is used in the automated environment is automatically doing the work. Next is business policies and procedures. Okay, business policies and procedures, including internal controls, are applied automatically. For example, delegation of authority for journal approvals, customer credit limit checks are performed automatically. Okay. Next, they have said reports used in business are produced from systems. Management and other stakeholders rely on these reports and information produced. For example, debtors aging report. Correct? No, you know this. Users' access and security are controlled by assigning system roles to users. For example, segregation of duties can be enforced effectively. Companies derive benefit from the use of IT systems as an enabler to support various business operations and activities. Enabler to support various business operations and activities. Auditors need to understand the relevance of these IT systems to an audit of financial statements. Okay, auditor needs to understand these areas. Okay, very, very clear, very, very simple. Okay, so this is the answer that we have done in the class also. I think in one of the batches I had given a code, and the code that I had given, okay, we had done in one batch with a story. One batch was, some student wanted a code for this. So I had given a code called Kabru. Remember Kabru? You have done a code called Kabru. Okay, no. Or you can remember coffee at brew. You remember brew coffee, no. So you have to remember coffee at brew. Something like that. That is this C, computation and calculation, accounting entries, business policies, reports, and finally user access and security. This is what we have done. Clear? So that is in relation to this area. This is of course in relation to chapter number 6, automated environment. Okay. Come to the next one, dear student. Let's see. This is a nice one, simple one. Let's see this. CAK is reappointed as the auditor of B Limited. He wants to reconfirm certain matters and he has asked the management to give written representation for the same. Under what circumstances can the auditor ask the management to reconfirm its acknowledgement and understanding of responsibilities in written representation? As you know, boys and girls, written representation is a very common way of obtaining some evidence. Okay, I will not say entire sufficient appropriate audit evidence, but some evidence. Now you have to understand that whenever auditor confirms any matter, but then there are significant changes happening, then the auditor can reconfirm the matter. Suppose with the new management or a new person who is handling the affairs of the entity, then the auditor can reconfirm certain matters. So they have given the conditions in wherein you can reconfirm. Okay, let's see this answer. The auditor shall request management to provide a written representation that it has fulfilled its responsibility for the preparation of the financial statements. Audit evidence obtained during the audit that management has fulfilled the responsibilities is not sufficient. Okay, no, is not sufficient without obtaining confirmation from the management about the same. Okay, this is because auditor is not able to judge solely on other audit evidence. Auditor is not able to judge solely on what other audit evidence. Okay, that is what they are given. Next, the auditor may also ask the management to reconfirm its acknowledgement and understanding of those responsibilities in written representation explained in the class. This is particularly appropriate when, so what are they given here? See this. Those who signed the terms of the audit engagement on behalf of the entity no longer have the relevant responsibilities. It means from the management side, those who signed the terms of the audit engagement when the auditor was appointed, remember engagement letter. So there in that we'll have the management signature, auditor signature. So those who had signed that are no longer responsible. The terms of the audit engagement were prepared in a previous year. Okay, no. So terms are prepared in the previous year and we want some change in the current year. Okay, no, some changes are required. There is any indication that the management misunderstands the responsibilities, management is not clear about the responsibilities, or changes in circumstances make it appropriate to do so. Changes in circumstances can be changes in law, changes in business, expansion and all these things. Okay. So here the question that they have asked, okay, the correct reason in this case will be the terms of the audit engagement were prepared in the previous year. If you see the question, is CAK correct? He's saying that, sir, see, this terms we had made in the previous year. I want to just reconfirm regarding certain matters. Okay, no. So can you please do it? Then the management should agree generally for the same. Okay. So that is why this approach of CAK seems to be appropriate. Everyone very clear? Now, of course, we have learned some answers using songs. Okay, no. We are wondering, will Kartik Sir sing the song again? The answer is yes. Okay. But however, you know that we had done the answers to these questions which are given here. The auditor's duty in relation to property, plant, equipment, land and building, all these things can be done through the way of an answer. I told you how to write the answer. I told you how to analyze the points. Okay, now remember the 58 points one. So we'll be doing that. But I have one more thing to tell you. One more answer that was fitting the bill was vouching these type of expenses are given rent, power and fuel, repairs and maintenance, insurance. So many options they gave you for in the examination. Okay, no. Now you have to frame an answer and you have written what are the attributes that an auditor generally prefers vouching these types of what expenses. Okay. So straightforward answer. Okay. And here we have done the answer from the song start. Okay, no. So what was the song in relation to this? So first song was disclosure depreciation, double entry documentation, discrepancy date occurrence, original observation, going concern, gap completeness, controls cut off transaction, confirmation, correspondences, changes kinds, business resolution, representation, related party, request reasonable, rights RBI direction, request reconciliation, receipts revaluation. Correct. So we have done this one. Now after that we have done the you have no of course know the Sande Se Aate song. Correct. No, that was accounts authenticated, authorized, accuracy, analytical procedures, agreement, adjustments, availability, accrual, audit procedures, payments, provisions, policy, professional, skepticism, professional judgment, standard, security, segregation of duties, start to reduce, subsequent events, valuation, verification, existence evidence, empty, existence evidence, ST, metality, TDS, test counts, title deeds, correct? Now here that was estimate. I binarily said empty. Okay, no, it was estimate, correct? No, that was this area. Okay, boys and girls. Now we had done the next one, CARO 2016, straightforward question asked in the exam. I hope the students you were able to mention the CARO clause, write it properly, and they had asked question in the exam which are very similar. Remember, company has raised money by public issue, company has made private placement of shares. In both the cases, company must have raised money, correct? No, and company must have issued shares. You know this. However, you may also know that this lie in different areas of the CARO clauses. As you know, we had done a code called Philo accepts CSR. If Philo accepts, okay, no, CSR, if Mrs. Needy's relatives prefer non-cash transaction of 45 crores. Correct? No, you remember this code. Very simple code to remember entire CARO clause. Okay, no, CARO, all clauses you will be able to remember using this code. Okay, no. So now, which are these points? You know this, fraud is 10. So 9 is issue of shares, debentures, debt instruments. All these were here. Correct? No, correct? No. The company has raised money by public issue. What will the auditor check, sir? The auditor will check whether the company has used the money for the purpose for which it was raised. If the company has not yet used the money, whether there was any subsequent default, delay, and rectification was there or not. Okay, no. So this the auditor will check. Okay, no. The auditor will check the default, delay, and the subsequent rectification whether it was done by the company. In the next case, we are looking at the private placement part. In this case, you know, a private placement is covered in what preferential transaction and private placement is covered here. That is, as you know, this is your clause 9. Okay, no, this is your clause 9. And this, as you know, it is your clause number 14. Why am I writing clauses in small Roman? Because that is how it should be written. I told you in the class. So clause 14 is preferential allotment or private placement, correct? Same thing when we have done preferential allotment, private placement, whether the money that is coming to us, whether it is used for the purpose for which we had raised the money, and we will also see whether the company is complying with all the requirements of section number 42 of the Companies Act. You know, so these two were there in relation to private placement. Okay, so these 2 points if you write in the exam, you will get good marks in relation to CARO 2016. Okay, I hope you are finding it comfortable, very easy. Okay, I'll cover this one more area, then I think I'll give you some time to again go through the point that we have done, and then we'll proceed further. Okay, let's see this. Auditor of Sunshine Limited is of the view that due to greater management intervention to specify accounting treatment. The risk of material misstatement is greater for non-routine transaction. Is the view of the auditor correct? Okay, that is the first part. Specify the other matters due to which the risk of material misstatement is greater for significant non-routine transaction. Okay, so they're asking view that due to greater management intervention to specify accounting treatment, the risk of material misstatement is greater for non-routine transaction. Okay, no. So is the view of the auditor, correct? The answer is yes, of course, correct. No. You understand due to greater management intervention to specify accounting treatment, the risk for is definitely greater for non-routine transaction. The reason being non-routine transaction, we cannot use your analytical procedures for non-routine transaction. Suddenly something has happened. We have to see what is the basic issue that is there. So the auditor has to, of course, be careful regarding the same. Okay. Next is specify the other matters due to which the risk of material misstatement is greater for significant non-routine transaction. This answer I've taken directly from a textbook. Okay, so you can see here the risk of material misstatement may be greater for significant non-routine transaction arising from matters such as the following. Okay, greater management intervention to specify the accounting treatment, greater manual intervention for data collection and processing, complex calculations or accounting principles, the nature of non-routine transaction which may make it difficult for the entity to implement effective controls over the risk will make it difficult for the entity to implement effective control over the risks. Correct? These are the areas that we see in relation to this point. Okay. So this is what you are supposed to write in the examination. Now, student, what I suggested before we go ahead with this area, okay, no, we have done till question number 4. Go through it very carefully. See whether you have understood the knack and the way the answer is required to be given, or at least the points that were required to be mentioned in the examination. Okay, go through it, take your time, okay, and ensure that you have understood this area. What I will do is I'll just flip the slides in every, let's say, 25-30 seconds. I'll flip it. Okay, I hope you will be able to understand with that. Okay, so let's go ahead with that. Okay, I'll start from here, question number 2. Then you will see that the screen will appear blue, but you will be able to see the question. You will be where you are able to look at my face, that will appear blue, because when you are reading, I don't want you to get disturbed with my movement. Okay, so please do it. Okay, students, I hope it is comfortable. Okay, and now we are going to go into the next area. Let's see this. Messrs. S and Associates are the statutory auditors of Real Limited, a company engaged in the business of manufacturing of garments. Okay, the auditor has completed the audit and is in the process of forming an opinion on the financial statements for the financial year 2020-2021. CAK, the engagement partner, wants to conclude that whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. Okay, no. We want to say that the financial statements are free from material misstatements. Okay. Now, when do you say that the financial statements are free from material misstatement? When there is no material misstatement involved. Okay, no. And when there is no material misstatement involved, what do you give? You say that the company is giving a true and fair view. Okay. Now here they are given what factors we should consider to reach that conclusion. Okay, now what factors should we consider for the same? There are different approaches to this answer that the students can take. A true and fair view seems to be the most straightforward one. What constitutes a true and fair view is a matter of the auditor's judgment. Okay, as you know. So when do you say a true and fair view? When the assets are neither undervalued or overvalued, no material asset is omitted, charge on the asset is disclosed, material liabilities are omitted, profit and loss account and the balance sheet discloses all the matters required to be disclosed, accounting policies have been followed consistently, and unusual, exceptional and non-recurring items have been disclosed separately. Okay, now have been disclosed separately. Very clear, very simple. So this is what they have said. Next, they are given here CAG was appointed as the auditor of RJ Limited. Okay, now at the remuneration of 35,000. Now, whenever they give the remuneration amount, just note that it can be something in relation to when the auditor resigns and, if he does not give ADT 3 within 30 days, then the penalty, remember, of 50,000 or auditor's remuneration, whichever is lower. Okay, now, first is that. They are given here, the auditor resigned after 7 months on health grounds, but failed to file the required statement with the ROC. What are the responsibilities of CAG? As per 140 subsection number 2 of the Companies Act 2013. First, I have asked this question. Second, CAG, may remember it is not C and AG, it is CAG. So don't get confused. CAG. Okay, no, CA and his name is G. As per section 140 subsection number 3 of the Companies Act 2013, how much fine will be levied on CAG for non-compliance of section 140 subsection number 2 of Companies Act 2013? Now, this question has been asked from amendments. Okay, so be very, very careful about the amendments. This question has come now from the amendment. Let's see this. What they are basically asking is, what is the responsibility of CAG under 140 subsection number 2? As you know, CAG has to submit Form ADT 3 to the company and to the ROC. Here you can see the company name is RJ Limited, and we are assuming here that the company, of course, is a other than government company, and the company will hence give, the auditor who has resigned will hence give Form ADT 3 to the company as well as to the ROC within how many days? 30 days, correct? Now, if the auditor fails, okay, no, so here 140 subsection number 3 will kick in. That is, what is the fine? This is where the amendment is. So if 140 subsection number 2 is not followed, 140 subsection number 3 says that the fine will be auditor's remuneration or 50,000, whichever is lower, okay, no. And for any further failure, okay, no, any further failure, let's say the AD3 is submitted on the 37th day. It has to be filed within 30 days. It is filed on the 37th day. So for how many days there is a delay? So calculate 31st day, 32nd, 33rd, 34th, 35th, 36th day and 37th day it was done properly. Okay, no. So you understand that there is a default of how many days? 6 days. So 6 days into 500 per day. That is nothing but your 3,000 rupees. So 3,000 rupees plus whatever is the auditor's remuneration or 50,000, whichever is lower. In this case, they have given it as 35,000. So 35,000 plus whatever number of days is the date of delay, whatever is the number of date of delay, into we will do 500. Okay, no, further days of delay into 500. That will be the total amount. But however, remember, the amount should not exceed, the penalty should not exceed 2 lakh rupees. Okay, no. So that is what this part says. So here they have said, as per section 140 subsection number 3 of the Companies Act 2013, how much fine will be levied on CAG for non-compliance under the section 140 subsection number 2 of the Companies Act. You know the fine will be, as I told you, auditor's remuneration of 50,000, whichever is lower. Continuing further fine of how much? containing fine of rupees 500 per day during the date of default, and the fine should not be less than the fine should not exceed 2 lakh rupees. Maximum it can be 2 lakh rupees. Okay, very clear, very simple. The amendment question has been asked in the exam. Simple question. Okay. CAK audited the books of E Limited for the financial year 2020-2021. The auditor used an audit procedure according to which all the documents and records maintained by the company were checked in detail to obtain audit evidence. Explain the audit procedure used by the auditor and its reliability. They are saying audit procedure according to which all documents and records maintained by the company were checked. Okay, no. So it seems that when documents and records, when they are checked, no, it will be in the case of inspection. Okay, inspection. Here, this answer is picked from the code that we learned. Remember, Cairo, confirmation, analytical procedure, inspection, inquiry. Then you have your recalculation, reperformance, and observation. Correct. So in this area is picked up from the area of inspection. Okay, no. So the auditor's documents and records are inspected by the auditor. And the reliability of inspection is high. However, inspection should not be used just for only inspection should not be used. It should be used in combination of inquiry. If recalculation or reperformance is done, it will generate a much stronger evidence for the auditor because he is doing the work again. Okay, so that is the procedure that has been used in this case. Okay, very clear. Next is, look at this. We'll be doing this in depth. Section 143, subsection number 3, clause J of the Companies Act 2013. The auditor's report shall include such other matters as are prescribed in Rule 11 of the Company's Audit and Auditor's Rules. Discuss those matters on which views and comments of auditors are required. See, here only they wrote views and comments giving an indication for that. Remember, correct, incorrect. I told you not tricky question is asked. So they have given an indication here only. See, the auditor will express the views and communication, and the disclosure requirement is from the company's end. Okay. Let's see this Rule 11 of the Company's Audit and Auditor's Rules. You know this very well. Okay. So here they have said whether the company has disclosed, company has disclosed the impact, if any, of pending litigation. So we know pending litigation. Remember, law, litigation, losses. And for the word delay, we use the word late while studying. We use the word late when we are studying in the class. Okay, no. So we use the word late. Okay, 1 second, please wait. Okay, late. Okay. And then they've given here whether the company has, your specified bank notes is here. Remember, 3 binno ka dils. Okay, no. So the LS is here. Now, what was covered in the amendment which had covered in the marathon sessions? Okay, no. And there I told you the amendment will be covered in the marathon sessions. So what were here? So here it was whether the management has represented that to the best of its knowledge and belief, other than those disclosed in the notes to the accounts, no funds have been advanced or loaned or invested either from borrowed funds or shared premier or any other source or kind of funds by the banks or to any other persons or entities, including foreign entities. Basically, the auditor will take a representation. So whether we are checking whether the management has represented that to the best of its knowledge and belief, no funds have been advanced or loaned or invested to any person or any person. See what they're given. With the understanding, whether recorded in writing or otherwise, that the intermediary shall, whether directly or indirectly, lend or invest in other persons or entities identified in any manner whatsoever by or on behalf of the bank, ultimate beneficiaries, or provide any guarantee, security, or the like on behalf of ultimate beneficiaries. This I told you, no, we should not, other than disclose anything other than what it disclosed. No funds have been advanced, loaned, or invested to the ultimate beneficiary, to any person who is acting as an intermediary, which will give the benefit to the ultimate beneficiary. Okay, no, that should not happen. Second case, you can see here whether the management has represented that to the best of its knowledge and belief, other than what is disclosed in the notes to accounts, no funds have been received by the bank. So what is happening here? Some funding parties are using the bank as the intermediary, that the bank can give it to someone else. Whether the understanding, whether recorded in writing or otherwise, that the bank shall first directly or indirectly lend or invest in other persons or entities identified in any manner whatsoever by or on behalf of the funding party, that is ultimate beneficiaries. Okay, no. So here what they are saying is we should not take the money and give it to some other party as a bank. So the bank management will give us the representation. Third is based on such audit procedures that the auditor has considered reasonable and appropriate in the circumstances. Nothing has come to their notice that has caused them to believe that representation under subclause 1 and 2 contain any material misstatement. So they are not doubting the representation given by the management. They feel whatever management has said, it has said truthfully. Finally, they have said whether the dividend declared or paid during the year by the bank is in compliance with 123. Basically, you know that dividend can be paid either by check or cash, or as you know, electronic transfer can also be done where bank is involved, or actually, of course, you know, dividend warrant. Okay, no. So whether if the bank has paid it, whether the dividend was properly paid and declared by the bank. Next is whether in respect of the financial years commencing on and after 1st April 2022, the bank used such accounting software for maintaining its books of accounts, which has a feature of recording the audit trail, that is edit log facility, and the same has been operated throughout the year. Basically, whatever records are there in the automated form, that is in accounting software, whether it was accessible, whether the auditor could get the proper audit trail. Audit trail means all the evidence were available in relation to that transaction. And then they have said, and nothing has been tampered with, and the audit trail has been preserved. There is no tampering means what? Nobody has changed the data in the accounting software. So these are the areas that the auditor will report in relation to the bank. Okay, very clear. Next question. This is in relation to 143 subsection number 12. Let's go through it. CAR is the statutory auditor of Mr. P is the cost auditor of DEF. A company engaged in the production of tires. Mr. P noticed a fraud of 1.25 lakhs done by the senior manager of the company and immediately informed the audit committee even before CAR was aware of the fraud. State the duty of CAR under section 143 subsection number 12 of the Companies Act on reporting of the frauds already detected and reported. First of all, understand the amount is 1.25 crores, 1 crore or more. Now 1 crore or more, it should be of course informed to the board of directors of the audit committee. But remember, ultimately the matter has to reach the central government. Okay, no. Here what they have said is if Mr. P, who is the cost auditor, is already informed, okay, no. Is it the responsibility of CAR to inform? The answer is yes. Whoever gets the fraud, you have to inform. Okay, no. Whoever gets the fraud, you have to inform, because the main matter is we are looking at that to keep the shareholders safer. Okay, no. You have to ensure that the matter of fraud is informed properly. If it is 1 crore or more, to the central government. If it is less than 1 crore, we'll inform the board of directors and the audit committee. Correct? Come. Local fund audit wing of the state government has appointed you to audit accounts of one of the local body governed by it. As an auditor, what will be the reporting areas? Very simple, straightforward question. It is from audit of different types of entities. Okay. Now, main chunk of the answer, if you see, is basically this. The area that you can see around it is basically what I've taken from the from our notes. Okay, no. So you have to read the answer, but you have to ensure that in the exam you have written reporting on the fairness of the fairness of the content and presentation of financial statements, reporting upon the strengths and weakness of the system of financial control, reporting on the adherence to the legal and administrative requirements, reporting upon whether value is being fully received on money spent, and detection and prevention of error, fraud, and misuse of resources. These should be done properly. Okay, this is the main crux of the answer. Okay, so this has to be reported. Next thing, boys and girls, very simple bank audit question. Okay, no. Now this question was based on your understanding of bank audit, which we have done. We had done a lot of stories. It was based on that. See, in a bank, all accounts will be kept under drawing power and the sanction limit. We have seen this many times in audit of advances. The accounts which exceed the sanction limit or drawing power should be brought to the notice of the management regularly. Analyze the following points to be considered in the computation of drawing power in the case of bank audit. Okay, now what are the points that you will consider? They are given one by one. Bank duties, you have to say what are the bank duties, credibility and all should be checked. Correct. You have to ensure that if the activity is exceeding the drawing power, then it is brought to the notice of the management. Okay. Next, the auditor's concern is auditor should see whether proper records are maintained, whether the bank person has taken the proper action, quick action has been taken, chance of fraud are not there. The computation of the depository participant has to see whether whether the compliance matters has been followed properly. That is the main area. And stock audit is basically when the loan has been given and it is based on stock. Okay, now the security is stock. If the stock audit is done properly, stock should not be degraded, deteriorated, all these things should not happen. So you have to frame your answer based on these points which I just said. In relation to bank audit. Next is, in the case of government entities, audit of accounts of stores and inventories has been developed as a part of expenditure audit. Same straightforward stores and inventories had come from our notes. Simple. I can simply read it, but this is straight from our notes. You can open our notes and you will see the straight paragraph they had asked in the exam straight from this. Next, they have written your favorite charitable institution had come. Correct. No, remember our diagram. They had asked about subscription and donation. Subscription and donation were a specific set of points. That was in relation to what official receipt. Remember, official receipts are issued. Unissued receipt books will be there. We have to of course, check all receipt books. Counterfoils will be checked. Printed list will be made. We'll check whether money has actually come or not. There is internal check has to be done. And finally, they have written the last point. They see internal check has to be done and checking the amount received, whether it is properly received or not. Finally, total subscriptions and donations received with any figures published in reports, etc. should be checked. These are the areas that we had seen in the class itself. They had asked, we had done the entire answer. Even if they would have asked you the entire charitable institution answer, I'm very sure you would have been in a very comfortable position to write. So subscription and donation, a simple chunk of the answer was asked, so you should be able to write it in the examination. So student, that is it. That completes our entire paper analysis. So ensure that you have done everything very well. Everything is comfortable.